Good morning, friends, and welcome once again to the Pete Delatorre Business Hour. We are celebrating Technology Month. Our opening segment today, of course, we do every 2 weeks with Florida International University's College of Business. We're featuring Karlene C. Cousins, Associate Professor of Decision Science and Information Systems, and she's going to take a very interesting look at technology trends that you don't want to miss, my friends. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to bring to the program here this morning with us Karlene C. Cousins with Florida International University's College of Business. Good morning, Karlene. How are you doing?
Good morning, Pete. I'm fine, thank you. And thanks so much for inviting me to speak to your listeners all over the globe.
Well, it is my pleasure. Let me embarrass you a little bit and share with the audience your background, which is quite extensive and very impressive. Again, Karlene C. Cousins, Dr. Karlene C. Cousins, is Associate Professor of Decision Science and Information Systems at the College of Business at Florida International University, where she teaches courses in technology innovation, information system strategy, and governance, and healthcare information law. She, as a researcher, attorney, entrepreneur, business planning, and commercialization expert, she's worked with technology, healthcare companies, and government agencies on a multitude of different projects. Dr. Cousins has worked in a professional capacity at Deloitte, CDW, Alcan, the Airports Authority of Jamaica, and the Entrepreneur Law Center at Northwestern University School of Law. And she is also the co-founder of IT Women Next Gen at FIU. So, Karlene, to say that you have an impressive background and have done a lot is an understatement.
Well, thanks for the compliment, Pete. I just tend to pursue my passions and pursue them well, and that explains my diverse background. But it also comes from this desire to give back and, to mentor people and to see business succeed.
Absolutely. Now that, of course, we're celebrating Technology Month on my show in the month of April, let me ask you the first obvious question that everyone is thinking about. What are the technology trends to watch for this year, 2015?
Well, there are quite a few trends that are very, very interesting, but the ones I'm going to focus on this morning are wearable technology, smart machines, gamification, and virtual reality. And these technologies have been around for a while, but a lot of factors have converged, and so the time is right for these technologies to disrupt the business environment.
What is wearable technology? I've heard that, and what are the future trends regarding that?
Okay, so wearable technologies refer to devices that are incorporated into clothing and accessories, which can be comfortably worn on the body. And these devices can perform many of the same computing tasks that mobile phones and laptop computers can do. The difference, though, is that because they're right next to the body, they provide sensory and scanning features such as biofeedback and tracking of bodily functions such as blood pressure and heart rate. So you've heard of Google Glass, Pete. It has been discontinued.
Okay.
But that's one example of a wearable technology. Other examples include the very popular Fitbit and smart timepieces such as Samsung Galaxy Gear, which is a watch, and Apple's iWatch is also coming out soon.
I've been seeing the commercials. They're blasting it everywhere.
Yes, there's a lots of anticipation with regards to the Apple iWatch. And then there are trackables. Companies such as the startup Tile are developing trackables, which are just chips that you can attach to items that get lost very easily so that you can easily find them later on. And wearables for health monitoring are also very important.
That is really taking off tremendously. And I think that when you look at that, the way the technology has developed and grown, and a lot of people think, well, this is getting a little bit too personal here. But when you think about having something that can monitor your certain aspects of your health is critical, because a lot of times when someone goes through a bad experience health-wise, there isn't anyone around, and these types of things will help detect and alert a central location or even someone else.
Yes, exactly. These devices can send alerts and notifications so people can get help if needed. College of Business alumni actually launched Tempo, which is a wearable device targeted to the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
And this device, which looks like a bracelet, tracks the daily rhythm of its wearer. So it can actually alert a family member if there's a change in their behavior that's worth noting, changing in patterns such as if they're starting to walk slower or if they're sleeping for greater periods of time and so on. So
what about the future of wearables?
Well, that's very interesting because we have arrived in the age of fashionable wearables. So designers are creating apparel, accessories, and fitness wear, that are very beautiful and fashionable, but they also monitor your heart rate and can do things like charge your smartphone. For instance, there's a startup called Cuff, which is Cuff is an activity tracking and safety device, but it's a very attractive jewelry piece. So looking at the piece of jewelry, you wouldn't know that it's tracking your activity or monitoring your bodily function.
Right.
And companies are even developing clothing that reflects your mood. And there are a few startups that are developing chargeable apparel. For instance, Wearable Solar is one such company that is developing technology to provide a way to charge your smartphone with your clothes using solar panels wired into the clothes.
Oh my God! This is like, and this is not just going to happen. It's already out there, correct?
There are lots of prototypes and shows where these are being displayed and demonstrated. Earlier this year, we had the big summit where they demonstrated some of these technologies. The focus of the agenda was wearables and virtual reality. And eMERGE is happening next month.
Right, the 1st through the 5th. Now, what are the implications? This is, we talk business every day. What are the implications of wearable technologies for business?
Okay, so the thing about business and wearable technologies is that employees are bringing these devices into the workplace. So that raises significant management challenges because organizations do not have control over these personal devices. So they will have to pay more attention to preserving the privacy and confidentiality of organizational employee and customer data. So the legal issues come into play. And they will also have to pay increased attention to the user experience and to business process design. And then there's the customer perspective, because wearables really provide companies with the ability to provide levels of customer service that we have never seen before.
Give me an example.
Well, customers are accessing organizational products and services through wearables, and they're providing live data about their behavior as they interact with these products and as they move. And so organizations are challenged with ways to capture that live data and to use analytics to develop insights about their customers.
Now, again, I'm hearing you here, and this is all great, but I'm sure we have a lot of listeners that are probably getting a little bit uncomfortable as this is now. It's gauging every step we make. Many might be thinking this is invading our privacy.
Yes. So, adhering to the privacy regulations, of course, is very, very important. And in the U.S., where privacy is concerned, there's a lot of self-regulation, and customers really have the choice to opt in to the collection of their data, and they have the choice to use these applications.
Now, according
Pete, being a little bit controversial, our children and grandchildren, it won't matter. Privacy and perceptions of privacy will evolve, but of course that's very controversial.
What I find interesting in our conversation before the show is that the wearable market, which is what we're talking about right now, and this is incredible, these numbers, is growing at a rate 5 times faster than the smartphone revolution. And it's expected that by 2018, which is only 3 years from now, 180 million wearables will be sold in the U.S. So huge opportunities. Okay, this is when we talk about business exists for application developers to develop applications for wearables. So that is a very interesting fact. Hey, Karlene, we need to go to a break, but on the other side of that, I want to start getting into more the smart machines. You know, we keep
Okay.
hearing about smart. Smart is everywhere. So I want to get into that. Okay, my friends, welcome back to the Pete Torre Business Hour. We are having a conversation where Dr. Karlene C. Cousins, Associate Professor of Decision Science and Information Systems for Florida International University's College of Business. Dr. Cousins, let's talk about smart machines.
Okay, so smart machines are just systems which understand their environment. They learn from themselves as they interact with our environment, and then they act independently. And these smart things are actually beginning to weave their way into the things that we use every day and starting to make decisions for themselves. And examples include cars that park and drive themselves like the Google car, contact lenses that measure blood glucose, which is another Google product, drones that deliver packages, Amazon is exploring that, eyeglasses that show us where to go, smart pills that monitor medication, virtual assistants that can perform cancer diagnosis. The potential for smart machines are really endless.
What are the implications of smart machines for business? I think a lot of us already know that, but hearing from you, who are obviously an expert in all of this, what are your thoughts?
Well, I predict that the smart machine era will be the most disruptive in the history of IT because even though they have been around for a while, the time for them is right to disrupt the market, primarily because they build upon a lot of existing tools and technologies, such as cloud computing, the Internet of Things, robotics, and analytics, which are now very, very stable and mature. So organizations need to be aware that these disruptive technologies can disintermediate your existing business, because if you're a middleman, customers can bypass your organization through these smart machines and go directly to the source of a product or service. So businesses really need to re-examine their business models and, experiment with how smart machines can be used to exploit data and how to gain business value from them. I have to point out that, organizations should not just adopt technology for technology's sake. You should really assess whether or not this technology can give competitive advantage to your organization, and also whether or not it can give business value to your organization.
Without a doubt. And matter of fact, technology is the catalyst that is moving the world and changing the world on a daily basis. And what has happened, in my observation, I'm sure yours as well, is that when we are trying to grow our businesses and drive revenues, we obviously use technology to the max, and we're always looking for the new gadgets to help us move forward. But by the same token, you just said something very important, and something we talk about endlessly on this show is to constantly be revamping, retooling, reinventing your business and your business model, because if you're not looking at that on a daily basis, you're going to be caught in the back of the line, and you're going to lose a market share and really hurt your organization. But again, the biggest message here is that technology is not the end of, it's not everything. It's not everything we do. It's a very, very viable, strong tool to utilize. And it's how we utilize this tool that makes a difference.
Yes, that is true.
Now there's something out there, and I've heard this the last couple of years, something called gamification. What is that all about?
All right, so, that is just the use of gaming principles in non-game environments, to work environments, such as innovation processes, marketing, education, used a lot in training, employee performance, and healthcare. So the idea is, when people are carrying out transactions or doing their work, is to touch them on an emotional rather than a transactional level, and motivate them to achieve their goals by introducing an element of competition into their work. So it includes elements such as contests for points, badges, leaderboards, and so on. And the opportunities are quite promising because the goal here is to have more engaged customers and employees. and to provide mechanisms to crowdsource innovation by getting the community involved with the organization's innovation processes, or just simply improving employee performance.
Do you have any more examples on how gamification is used in the enterprise, and what are the implications for business?
Yeah, for instance, an organization who wants to improve employee productivity, they can challenge employees to assemble, say, a number of widgets per hour, or process a number of error-free transactions within a certain period of time, or make a number of sales calls and so on. And they can compete with each other in these activities. Mm-hmm. And each task can earn points. They can accumulate the points to earn a badge. Maybe they can redeem the badge for a prize, a monetary prize, or an appliance or something like that, and move on to the next level of the challenge. So the idea behind this is to drive higher productivity in a fun and rewarding way.
Absolutely. Now, you've got, I believe there's an example of an organization out in San Diego.
Yeah. From the customer engagement perspective, San Diego Gas and Electric Company sent an email to customers about different ways they could lower their energy bill and earn prizes by saving energy as part of its Manage Act Save program. So each time a person learned a new energy-saving tip, they earned points. Mm-hmm. And after a certain number of points, they earned a badge as well as the ability to turn those points into prizes, such as Starbucks gift cards. We all like Starbucks, right? Mm-hmm. And they can compete with their friends and neighbors to earn new badges and move up the leaderboard.
Now, these customers learned a new tip, or how do they? Are they tracking them using these tips? That's what I'm trying to understand, how they can can accumulate the points.
Right. So they get an email with maybe a link to some sort of video or web page that teaches them about the energy saving tip, and upon completion they earn points.
Gotcha.
So the more they cover that material, the more they earn points. And, a number of points is equal to a badge like the mayor of energy saving, for instance.
Dr. Cousins, we have a couple of minutes left. One thing real quick I want to look at, virtual reality. What's the difference? It's been around a while. What's the difference today?
Okay, so everyone knows that this is about experiences in 3D. So it involves immersing a person in this 3D computer-generated environment and giving them the ability to explore the environment and manipulate objects in the environment through a series of bodily gestures and movements and so on. So actually, mobile technology is considered to be the platform of today, but virtual reality is predicted to be the technology platform of tomorrow.
That's very interesting. Now, how is the College of Business preparing students to capitalize on all of these technology trends?
Well, we are preparing our students to scan the environment for emerging technologies and to assess whether or not they can add value to business processes in the organization, mm-hmm. and if they can give business value to the organization. And we are also focused on helping our students learn about how organizations can analyze the large volume of data generated from all these technologies. The killer application is really a combination of all the technologies I've mentioned before: gamification, virtual reality, wearable technologies, and so on. So, but it's the data that's generated from these technologies that will give competitive advantage. We offer 4 programs. Mm-hmm. The undergraduate bachelor's in business administration in MIS, which means Management Information Systems. And we have 3 tracks: mm-hmm. business systems, business analytics, and business information security. We also offer 3 graduate programs: master's in health informatics and management systems, and a master's in IS. And we also have a PhD in business administration with a specialization in MIS.
Well, to say the least, and I'm sure my listeners would agree this morning, this is a very fascinating topic. It is our world today, and the magic word that it's used throughout technology, the technology landscape, is disruption. It's really to change completely, and the way that we think, the way that we interact on a daily basis, and technology is the catalyst. Dr. Cousins, how can the audience connect with you and find out more about the programs available through FIU's College of Business?
Well, you can visit our website at business.fiu.edu/GSIS to learn about our MIS programs. And we also have a social development agenda in our department, especially as it relates to gender issues in MIS. We do not have enough women pursuing technology careers. Actually, Pete, only 15% of the students enrolled in our MIS program are women.
So the opportunity is endless there for women to get into the IT technology field. Dr. Cousins, this has been very enlightening. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. Again, we appreciate you and all of your colleagues at FIU's College of Business, a very strong partner of this radio program, and all of you are making such an impact in our community that it's been amazing, and it's only going to continue to grow. So we thank you for taking the time today.
Yes, and if anyone is interested in our IT Women Next Gen organization, you can email us at itwomennextgen@gmail.com to hear more about the summer program that we're having for high school girls.
Perfect. Terrific.
And Pete, thanks again for inviting me.
Thank you.
I'll be able to come back.
You'll be back. We're going to get you back soon. This is a very fascinating topic here. Thank you so much, Dr. Cousins.